Now, let's come to the fiscal performance, which is where we're going to be getting excited. Now, typically, for those of you writing public sector accounting and finance, this is a 20 marks area you're going to be seeing in the exam hall, which is analysis of the financial performance, condition, and position of the entity. And we can use the common size analysis, we can use the ratios, then we can use the budget variance analysis for that. And you saw that in the mid-year review, the finance minister used a number of indicators across these three approaches to analyze the fiscal performance of the government. And so, public sector accounting and finance student analysis of the financial performance position and financial condition and cash equivalent position of the entity is what you need to be mindful of here. So let's look at a couple of indicators that we use to analyze the fiscal performance of the government. The government fiscal discipline yielded remarkable results in the first half of 2025. Provisional data indicates that the primary balance on a commitment basis, a key fiscal anchor, recorded a surplus of 1.1% of GDP, significantly surpassing the target surplus of 0.4 of GDP. The overall fiscal deficit on a commitment basis was 0.5 of GDP, outperforming the target of 1.8% of GDP. On cash basis, the overall balance recorded a deficit of 1% of GDP, which was substantially better than the projected deficit of 2.1%. What does this mean generally? There are two things you must understand, right? In the financial statement of public sector entities, the fiscal balance and then the primary balance, especially when it comes to analyzing the performance of government. The fiscal balance is like the net operating results, which is the total revenue minus the total expenses. The surplus or deficit is the fiscal balance. The primary balance, on the other hand, is the net operating results excluding interest expenses. In other words, when you pick the net operating results and add back the interest, that gives you the primary balance. And that is a key indicator. So the assumption is that, let's say government is not paying interest on debt. And so that is the idea about the primary balance and the fiscal balance. And so this having a deficit of 1.1% rather than what they expected to have 2.4% of GDP is a good thing, right? It's a good thing. Then total revenue to grant for the period amounted to this, which is 7.1% of GDP, which is about 3% below the target. And then a couple of things were also there about their revenue items. Petroleum receipts fell short of the target by 2.7 billion. This is because of delay in corporate tax from oil. Now, if you remember in the Auditor General's report, there were a lot of taxes outstanding which had been assessed but hadn't been accounted for in the books. Why? Because for some reason, the Controller Accountant General accounts for tax revenue on cash basis instead of the traditional accrual basis. And so probably this is what is contributing and bringing this here, why there is a reduction of 2.7 billion. And then the appreciation of the cedi, because when the cedi appreciates, it means you will get less from your export than you are supposed to get generally at the end of the day. Now, expenditures were effectively contained at 109.7 billion, representing 14% reduction below the program. Okay? Why was that? This reflects strong expenditure control measures. Very important. So, yeah, it was contained effectively, 14.3% reduction. But you see, there is something you must understand about some of these items. The fact that government is spending below how much it has budgeted for does not mean we have to clap for the government, right? Because again, if you look at the whole issue in its entirety, you will understand that when government is not spending money, then there is some level of contraction that is likely to come in the economy. Now, that could be part of a fiscal policy of the government, that they are not going to be spending as much money as possible. And so if you find out, yes, this could be celebrated, but we have to also look at, is it that government is intentionally not spending so that it will clap for itself, or government is spending, but spending on things that they are expected to spend on, as the finance minister puts it? Because when the expenditures are below the budget, There are a couple of things going on there. It could mean government is not meeting its revenue target and hence has abandoned some of the policies that it had intended to undertake. It could also mean that government is not giving money out to the various ministries, department, agencies, metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies. It has been alleged that some of the ministers who have been appointed by the president are complaining because they are not receiving clearance for the people they are supposed to employ and the expenditures they are supposed to incur. So it's more or less like government is not giving them the money required. And so this reduction of 14.3% could be celebrated on one side, but also have what? A ripple effect. Because as you know already in the public sector class, when we are talking about expenditure items and there's a reduction in expenditure items, yes, we could attribute that to strong expenditure control measures, but there are also some effects there because it means that some of the covered entities may not have the requisite financing, the requisite resources, the requisite skill, expertise, technology to undertake their work, which then means that the standard of living of the citizens will be affected. So it's like a two-edged sword discussion. On one side, we can say, yes, the government is putting in place strong expenditure control measures. But on the other side, are the entities who are supposed to have money to do their work having the money they need so they can do their work? And that is very important there that we need to understand. Because look at other expenditure items such as goods and services. They said was 38.3% below target. Now, that is not something you celebrate. Yeah, you can say, because it means government is not really spending money on the things that will give the resources to the ministries, department, agencies, metropolitan, municipal, district assemblies to be able to do their job. Because if your expenditure on goods and services is 38.5% below the target, what is happening? What's going on? Is it that you are not sending the money? Or what is happening here? On another level, we need to understand because some of the expenditures could be built up and will be released in the second quarter. And so what analysts are also looking at is that, yes, we could see some of the things in the first half of the year and maybe celebrate that. Technically, it's just 3 months. But that is worrying to me that you are spending 38.5% less than you had targeted to spend in respect of goods and services, which is the machinery of government, okay? To cover entities and everybody, what they need to be able to do their work well. Does it mean government is not giving them the money to do their work as intended, which means that there are a lot of people who are being paid, but they are not doing anything, and there are a lot of institutions being run that they don't have the money to carry out their activities. That's quite worrying. Then the fiscal balance, which is the net operating results on cash basis, had a deficit of 15.1 billion, and we are told that that was financed through domestic debt. Now, that is in principles of taxation and advanced taxation under fiscal policy. Because remember, this is part of fiscal policy of the government. To be able to finance budget deficits, government can either introduce taxes or borrow money. If they are borrowing money, they can go into the international market or the domestic market. What are the advantages and disadvantages of that? You know this in the principles of taxation or advanced taxation class. It is a question the examiner can ask you that you have to be mindful of.